Hello, today I'd like to show off my collection of Lego Koopa clown cars. I was inspired by the alternate costumes for Bowser Jr. in Smash Bros. 4, and of course the official Lego Bowser Jr. Koopa clown car set. I wanted to make some alterations to the original and then use that as a template for making the rest of the Koopa kids. So let's start taking a look at those. For each of the clown cars, I made a base for them to sit on, which is visually influenced by the official Bowser's Castle set. We'll take a look at that in some more detail in a minute. The clown car itself is modeled around the official build for Bowser Jr. with some alterations. I did remove that gimmick. It's a nice gimmick where you set it down on a surface and the propeller would sink up into the body of the clown car. But I did get rid of that. Just easier to reproduce 7 or 8 of these without that little gimmick. It's partially why I made these little bases, so we don't have to worry about setting it down and flopping around on that propeller. But same as the original Lego build, the back of the clown car is the bottom of the bricks. If you're thinking about building bricks upward in a normal fashion, there's the bottom of the bricks here and top of the bricks here. And just to give you an idea of how these things are put together, I'm going to start tearing this guy apart. I believe this back side here is still part of the official Bowser Jr.'s clown car set, so I kept that intact. Let's see. 1x6 inverted slope with this cutout here. We need a 2x4 tile to attach that to the back. And then just starting with plates, these are 2 plates, and building upward, we've got this panel in here with a brick attached to it, and this brick is a 1x4 with the 4 studs on the front with some jumpers attached to it. And the jumpers and arrangement of this specific piece will change depending on which figure we're putting in there. This one has the 2x3 foot piece here, so his feet attached to those jumpers like that. And he can sit inside his clown car. So the rest of it is just building bricks and such upward from there. You can see that there's this Technic brick here that allows me to put this pin and axle, and that's what the propeller attaches to. Nothing terribly complicated, just more bricks and what have you shoved up in there. For the front side, to get these curves, I used these sorts of pieces, these slope curved. This is the 1x1 by 1 2/3 maybe. Oh boy, I always forget the name of these pieces. And this is just the 4x version of that. I just preferred the nice slopey curved instead of the sharp angle that the original set came in. So there's a pretty simple little swap out there using of course, the printed mouthpiece from the official set. I just bought 7 extras of those and used them in this build. The Smash Brothers design of the clown cars for the Koopalings is different than the straight up clown face. It's got sort of a robotic headlight look for the eyes, which is easy to replicate in Lego. I took one of these 2x4 jumper pieces and just added the little 1x1 round tiles. For this part of the upper colored ring, this is just 3 bricks stuck together. Depending on what the color is, different pieces available in different colors. Some of these might, I don't remember, we'll figure that out as we go along. Some of these might use a 1x1x3 brick, And one of them uses plates, just 1x1 plates, a whole bunch, because the color I chose doesn't have the 1x1 bricks or 1x1x3 bricks available. So I just had to stack a bunch of plates together. I believe that's the Bowser Jr. one. We'll take a look at that in a minute. So yeah, that's the basic structure of each of the clown cars. They are all fairly identical, except for how these jumpers are set up or what sort of interior footholds there are for each of the figures, depending on what kind of feet they have. And the colors and what's available regarding these side bricks or plates. And the other big difference between any of the rest of these clown cars is the propellers. This is a nice little propeller. It's very similar to the one in the official Bowser Jr. set. This is a axle. The official one is a pin, but this is what was available in this color. It was the axle version, and it works out pretty well. And a lot of these colors didn't have any available existing propeller piece, so I just had to make something up, and we'll take a look at that. And in addition to the clown car, I did do some very minor modifications to the figures themselves, that being the scan tile on the back I replaced with just an ordinary jumper, 2x2 jumper, and I added these little pyramid pieces, spiky dudes, just to give that a bit more of a finished look. And I did keep the original scan tile from the figure, and I incorporated that into these bases, just in case you want to still use your Mario figure to scan that. That's available. Regarding the base, we'll just take a look at this first one here. And I'm going to pull one of these towers in from the Bowser's Castle set, incorporating these black bands with the spikes, sort of like Bowser's cuffs and collar in his design. And we have the green roof image there. These builds have a black bit of detailing on the bottom, so I incorporated that as well along the bottom of these. Just putting a black plate down there. This bit right here, which is where the car connects to the base, is made out of one of these pieces, these 2x2 plate modifieds with the two studs on front. That's all that is right there in black, of course. And pulling in some of these bricks, the bricks that look like bricks, masonry bricks in there, and various bits of detailing around the red base here. This is a little bit of flame. That specific design comes from one of the mystery packs that they released earlier on. I believe they were using this sort of one or more of those mystery packs. I don't remember which one uses this sort of design for a little bit of like, ooh, lava flame, bubbly thing going on there. There's a few other alternate ideas that Lego put out there throughout those mystery bags, mystery boxes, and I've just taken some of those and incorporated them into the bases here. We've got a little ledge here that's made up of the 2x2. I always forget if this is a tile modified or a plate modified, but it's the 2x2 and it's got the two studs on it. And that acts as a little ledge. And then these two tiles on top just make it easy to slide across and connect to those two studs sticking out. And you've got that little ledge underneath as a little bit of extra support in the back there. And that's about that. Just trying to like bring in as much detailing as I can from the official Bowser's Castle set. So when the Koopalings are off having their wicked adventures, we're left with these nice structures that blend in well with the official set. Because of the odd numbering, we've got 7 Koopalings and 1 Bowser Jr. Some of these bases are the same build as each other, but we're going to have some that are unique. Ludwig's is unique, Bowser Jr.'s is unique, but the rest are built in pairs. We'll take a look at Iggy Koopa here next. There's a quick look at his base. We'll look at that in a little bit. With Iggy, Same situation on the back, replacing that scan tile with the 2x2 jumper and the spike. And his clown car is more or less the same. A lot of these pieces, this is the lime green from the official set. A lot of these pieces come from the official set. I chose to make Bowser Jr.'s a different green based on some various artwork. It's a little open to interpretation, but that's what I've decided. Regarding the inside for his feet are these 2x2 style feet piece with the one stud in the middle. I've done a few different interpretations of footholds inside the carts for these various figures. But for this one, I chose these 1x3. I did two 1x3 jumpers with the two studs. So he's got a pretty secure foothold with the 4 studs inside there, and he sits in there like that. His propeller is the official Bowser Jr. Clown Car set propeller. That worked out pretty easily since I already had it. And that's about all that's remarkable for that build. For his base, we have a very short base. Iggy and Lemmy, I think of these two as sort of, I don't know, a pair. Back in the day, I think both of them used to have the rainbow hair. They don't do that anymore with these characters. But anyway, these two have the same base. Same build. Just a shorter version, less intricate than Morton's and less intricate than some of the other ones. Pretty straightforward. For Lemmy here, just take a look at his car. We have this piece again, this nice propeller piece, comes in that color. I chose for him for unknown reasons, no particular reason, but he's got the same foot piece as Iggy. But I put instead a 2x2 jumper, so that center stud just plugs into his center hole there. And he just stands in there like that. I changed out his little cheese wedge here. He had a little yellow cheese wedge. And it wasn't until I was making this video I thought, you know, I took a look at some of the character artwork and he's got this little ponytail here hanging out. And I thought, yeah, sure, why not? Why not just plug a banana in there and that'll look like his ponytail. If Pom Pom can do it, why not Lemmy? So we've got a little bit of banana hair, and he's the only one with a round shell. The rest of them have the square shell scan tiles. He's got a round one. So I just replaced that scan tile with that round jumper and the spike. And the same on all of them, just putting that scan tile on the base. There's Iggy's scan tile. And additionally, Lemmy gets a special little bonus accessory with this whole Mario Lego line. There's very sort of square-based things. Things that should be round are squared off. So it was pretty simple to make Lemmy's little jumping ball thing that he's always standing on in his character artwork in some of the video games. This is just a little box built with these bricks, the studs on side bricks, and some tiles, and adding those star pieces. Ideally, I would like these star pieces to be a nice regular orange color, but they do not come in an orange color. So I chose the dark orange. And you can always, of course, take off one of these and put the figure on top, and he can go have some fun bouncing on his ball. We'll take a look at Bowser Jr. next. For the figure, same situation on the back with the scan tile replaced with the spike. And I give him his paintbrush accessory, one of his favorite toys that he likes to play with. This is a minifigure head with minifigure hair. I believe this comes from the character Syndrome from The Incredibles is where that hair comes from. And I thought it worked pretty well for a big splotch of orange paint. And that's stuck inside of one of these round bottom dome brick things, and there's a stud with a hole in it. What do you call this? Hollow stud, which is attached to this 6L bar, and that 6L bar is poked through this 1x1 brick with 4 studs, 1 stud on each side. Just trying my best with the existing Lego pieces to bring in the details from Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush. His clown car, I chose to keep the boxing glove arms, although I did change the color to better match the character art. And the green, his official set comes in lime green, just like his face. But some of the Smash Brothers artwork, some of it does look lime green, some of it looks like this bright green that Lego has available. So I just switched that to the bright green. That kind of matched one of the pieces of artwork. And Iggy's clown car was going to be lime one way or the other. You know, it matches his hair. It's a little bit of a trick. His hair matches this, but also Bowser Jr.'s head matches this color. So I just had to make a choice, and that's the choice I made. Since this does match one piece of the character artwork, I thought this was a fair enough choice to go with. It does suffer a bit with parts availability in that color. These side bits on the top here, as you can see, are just made up of a million little 1x1 plates. There is a 1x1 brick available in that color now, I think. I do not believe there was when I first made this, but it is kind of rare and I haven't bothered seeking that out. Additionally, the back portion here with these inverted slopes isn't available in that same piece. That color, this bright green color, doesn't come in that same kind of piece there. So I just had to cobble together. These are the inverted slopes and a 1x2 plate and these corner tiles, which does create a bit of an unfortunate notch situation here. This is far from ideal, but this is what I could cobble together with the available pieces in the chosen color. But that's that. And his propeller also, we're starting to get into these builds. The colors I've chosen don't have that propeller piece. It's a very nice propeller piece, but it is really only available in the lime. And then we have the axle version instead of the pin version is yellow. And I believe it comes in red. And we already looked at Ludwig's blue version of that. Aside from those colors, those propeller pieces are not available. So I had to do some improvising. So for that, I took a Technic brick and put a pin in there without the friction ridges so it'll spin freely. And then I took a 2L bar and found these blade thingies with the clips and clipped them on and put them in there. And that works out well enough for me for a propeller. It's quite a bit bigger than the other ones, but that's just kind of how it goes. Taking a look at his base. This is the tallest, most impressive base for the leader of the Koopalings. I don't know if he's officially considered that, but he often seems to act like that in the various video games. And again, we're just pulling in details from the Bowser's Castle set. I did choose to give him a flag. He's got his own big flagpole at the top with the Bowser flag. And some more of those masonry bricks. We've got 2 of these modified plates with the studs on front incorporated into this. And I pulled in some of these spikes from here. He's got longer supports here and a nice big arch. And he's got some lava, which comes from these pieces here. Let's see if I can pull one of these off. This build from Bowser's Castle has these curved arches, which are these pieces here. and they flow down to this 1x2 jumper. And I've just incorporated that design in here. We have the flowing lava coming down and then flowing down a little bit more to the red base. Incorporating a couple arches here and on the sides, which mimic arches from the Bowser's Castle build. Just trying to bring in some of those design elements. And then we've got more of that fiery lava bubbly stuff going on here. We've got some from multiple mystery box series. I'll bring up some pictures on the screen to show those off. These are both this style and this style are both from official builds, from official Lego sets. And I put a little jumper in here, 2x2 jumper on top of some bricks, just so that you can add any particular little enemies you wanted. A lot of those mystery boxes and what have you come with this sort of thing. The official sets, Mario sets, come with these little jumpers so that you can put the various enemies and what have you on there. And I just thought that would be a fun little addition. So those are some of the details that I pulled in from the official Bowser's Castle set. And just trying to like make the Bowser Jr. stand here taller, more impressive than the other little Koopalings because he's the big boss. And let's see, that just connects right there. Those studs make this a pretty secure hold. I wouldn't push down too heavily on there because this will come apart. So it's not rambunctious child-proof, but it will stay. The cling is strong enough to hold the clown car and Bowser Jr. If I can get him connected, there he goes. And his paintbrush. I did pull his scan tile, Bowser Jr.'s scan tile is attached to the front. And the clown car comes with its own scan tile, and I pulled that off and attached that in the back. It's from the official Lego set clown car. So I've got both of those available in case you wanted to go crazy with your electronic Mario or Luigi or Peach and scan some scan tiles. Those are both still openly available to scan. And the next pair, we've got Larry and Wendy. Start with Larry. Same with all of them. He's got the replacement with the spike on the back and his scan tile attached to the base there. Oops. There's his clown car. This is the beginning of the crazy propellers, something I just had to cobble together based on what pieces are available for the colors. We can see back here there's yet another example of not available in that color. I had to use more of a curved slope for the back of the colored ring at the top here compared to most of them which use this inverted slope piece here. This dark azure color didn't have that, so I just had to choose different pieces. And let's take a look at his propeller. Same situation as Bowser Jr.'s updated build here. He's got the 1x2 Technic brick with the pin pushed in there. And this is a 1x1 Technic brick. And we've got the bar with the 1x1 stud. And we've got this 1x2, or rather 2x1, I think is what Bricklink calls it, 2x1 curved slope. And it was attached like that. This is the 1x1 round plate with open stud. Slides on there like that. And that connects to this Technic brick here. And that plugs up into the bottom. And these are just angled slightly opposite each other to just kind of give the impression of a propeller. Not the perfect build. It's what I could come up with in lieu of my desired propeller piece. It's a big chunky brick built propellers. We'll take a look at Wendy here. We'll take a look at the bases after that. For Wendy, in addition to the back spike, I also added her bracelets, her rings. She's always throwing her rings around in a lot of the Mario games, so I thought those were a nice detail to add. You have to pull the arm out a little bit to get those to stick in there, but they work pretty well. I think this is considered a weapon piece on Bricklink. You can see the minifigure handhold there. I first saw these in a Black Panther set, I think. I'm not sure where they were first available, but they're available in gold, and I thought that worked very well for Wendy and giving her some additional bit of personality for this figure. The arm clicks in, and they hold in there pretty well. I'm very happy about how that turned out. For her clown car, it's the same as Larry's, the inverted slope pieces there. And the propeller is the same, except we've got a 1x1 brick with studs on two sides, and that's where these bars plug into. Such a piece was just not available for this dark azure color, so I had to use the Technic brick and stick some studs into there to get that to connect. So we've got just the little half pin there, or whatever you consider that 1L pin, I'm not sure what that's called, that sticks in there. And we've got the brick, and we've got the bars with the stud, and that's what attaches to these slopes. These are inverted slopes. And that attaches to there. Just turning these slightly opposite from one another to give you sort of a propeller look. And their bases, they've got that particular type of little lava bubble in them. I pulled in this detail from the Bowser Castle set. These braziers, these flame thingies, pulling those in. And because of the awkward propeller builds here, I had to carve out a notch here. So this is an extra bit of space here. We've got the 1x3 jumpers, and they attach on top there. Just to give you a look at what that is. So that when you push the clown car in, the propeller has a space to live there. They're a little bit larger than I'd like them to be, but that's the solution I was able to come up with. For now, I'm always thinking about how I can make a better version of those propellers, but someday I'll come up with something. And both Larry and Wendy's bases are the same. And for the last pair, we've got Roy and Morton. These were I guess you could say an especially difficult challenge that I did not rise to. I kind of cheaped out on it because I just took their legs off. They're too big to fit into this. I first made all of these before these two figures were available, and I kind of figured they're going to be bigger figures, and they certainly just do not fit. So the easy solution is just to take not their heads off, to take their legs off, and they just fit right inside perfectly like that. Maybe one day in the future, I'll design an expanded clown car that they can fit into, legs and all, but for the time being, you're just going to have to imagine that they squeeze their legs in there and are enjoying a nice cozy ride inside their clown cars. For Roy, thankfully, we have that good propeller piece available. All the regular normal pieces available here. I just put a 2x4 plate in there. These aren't really attached per se. I'm not, pushing down and connecting those studs. They're just for support. But that's what I've got inside that one. There's Roy and Morton. Here's a bit of a tricky one regarding color, because some of the artwork, this colored band matches his brownish color, and some of the artwork, it looks a bit darker and less saturated, so I just chose the dark bluish gray I just think that looks a little bit better than the brown. The color of the character himself in Nintendo artwork doesn't quite match the regular Lego reddish brown, but that's what Lego chose. I just didn't want to choose that reddish brown for the ring here. I just thought gray looked a little bit nicer, even though it doesn't really match his skin color. It does sort of match his tummy color and his star color. It's a nice, gray connection visually there. So it works out well enough. Not perfect. With Lego, they as the years go by, they have more and more colors available, but it is still a limited color palette. With Nintendo making a video game, they can choose any of the infinite colors in the world. And when I'm making custom builds, that's just sort of part of the game, is making choices, and some of them are imperfect regarding color. So given that, we've got all the regular pieces available here, as in most of the other cars. This inverted wedge, etc., etc. Propeller, of course, no. This is the same propeller situation as Wendy, except that this dark gray color that I chose does have the bars with the studs on them. So that was a let's go full monochrome on the propellers. As for their bases, since these are the two heavyweights, these two characters, I went with a bit of a taller, tougher looking base, not quite as big as Bowser Jr.'s, but certainly bigger than any of the rest of their siblings. They've got their own little bits of lava coming out. They've got kind of this midway green roof situation. And they each have a jumper here to add an additional enemy on top of. Since these are taller, just like Bowser Jr.'s in the background here, you can attach a clown car, and there should be enough room to put any particular not too tall enemy on top there, just to sort of beef out the enemy forces. This was a particularly fun challenge once I decided to go with this central little arch with the lava pouring down from it. And again, this lava design comes straight from the official Bowser's Castle set. Just something I pulled out and incorporated into these bases. But getting this 1x3, because this arch is a 1x3 arch, centered, was a bit of a challenge. I was very happy when I finally figured out how to do this. We got a 1x1 tile, and then we have a 1x3 jumper with the two studs on there. So the lava attaches right to the center there, and the arch attaches to that one stud there. And that works out pretty well. With all these builds here, we're going to have this modified plate with the studs on front, just for those clown cars to attach. And we've got the tiles on the top just to make that easy to slide in there. Give you a comparison between Bowser Jr.'s base and the other big bases. And of course the same replacement on all of them. So we've got the back spike on the back of their shell there. These two also have these little tails here, and that does not prove to be any sort of problem for the clown car. Once you take their legs off, they can sit on top, the tail can, and it works out just fine. Or you can tuck the tail in. Works either way. Taking a look at all these bases together, think of this as escalating in a video game style. Your first boss is going to be not the toughest boss, and it's going to get a little more difficult as you go along. So each of these bases is a little larger, a little more intimidating as we go along into the tougher bosses, until we get into the massive Bowser Jr. tower here. And even though I don't really ever display it this way without the clown cars attached, I do like the unified aesthetic between the bases and the big Bowser's Castle set. In this next segment, I'm going to compare the Lego Koopaling figures to the Jakks Pacific action figures. I recorded this next bit maybe about 2 years ago, and at that time, Jakks Pacific had not yet made a Roy or Morton figure, and they still haven't. I'm very pleased with Lego for wrapping up this whole group of characters. And, well, let's just be happy that Lego's taking care of us, I guess. Take a look at these figures in comparison to their action figure versions. Jakks Pacific, I believe, is the company that makes the action figures. And I thought it might be a little bit of fun taking a look at both versions side by side. It is funny at this point right now, we have the same figures in Lego and Jakks Pacific figures. They're both missing Roy and Morton right now, so this is going to be a pretty good one-to-one comparison. I always liked the variety of colors on the shells, how the rings have their own color separate from the shell color. Lego doesn't quite go that far, which is totally fine. Here we go. There's Morton. Iggy. He's a big fella. Tall, skinny guy. Each of these figures, between the action figure and the Lego figure, they do have the matching wand color, which is very nice. There's the shell. You can see his glasses in each figure. Nice sprig of hair. Whoops. Lego used some of their ingenuity to make that sprig of hair on top. Very nice. Let's take a look at Wendy next. There we go. Got a bit of a brighter pink here and a deeper pink on the action figure. Both have their purple wands. Whoops. Everything's falling apart. There we go. Both have their bracelets now. Take a look at the back of their shells here. I'll just hold you up. Very nice. Here's Lemmy. There we go. The little fella, the littlest guy. You can see behind his fire, he's got the green. They both got their green magic wands. Colorful hair, very happy with how Lego managed to fit in this bright array of hair. Matches the character model pretty nicely. Got the little orange shell in the back. Very nice. You can see with each of these how they've got their unique markings worked in. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's a little tiny bit of those orange stripes from the character here. Very good. Here we have Larry. Again, that similar sort of jaggedy hair, brick-built jaggedy hair. You can see the star on both figures, orange wands. I'll take a look at the back. This is a very nice color. Lego matched this color very nicely. Very nice coincidence that this shell color happened to match the pre-existing Lego color there. That's one of the better matches of all these figures, so that's nice. And there we go. that's what I've got. I don't have Bowser Jr., so I can't compare Bowser Jr. And to really fill out the display, we can add our enemies onto the set. With a Kamek and a Boo. On the bases, we can put a Podobo. We have a, whatever those are called, Dry Goomba, Bony Goomba, I don't know. We've got a Dry Bones. He can live right there. And here we have a full display. All the Koopalings in their clown cars, plus Bowser Jr., of course, with some hidden enemies tucked away in there, all hanging out with the big boss, Bowser himself. Certainly going to be a formidable challenge for your LEGO Mario electronic figures to run through and beat up, or just put on a shelf like I do and let them collect dust. I hope you enjoyed this look at my custom Koopa clown cars.